Panther people, what up? Happy New Year. And could we be looking at a new era for the Carolina Panthers? Just going on and watching Panthers Sports with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. If you have noticed, keeping track at home, kind of changing up the studio a little bit, aka my mudroom. Got a dope light from my wife for Christmas. She's supporting, and if you are new here, make sure you support as well. Like, subscribe. I am 30 subscribers away from getting to 4,000, which would be double what I started at the beginning of the season, which would be a remarkable achievement on my behalf. 4,000 is not a lot for a lot of people, but for me, it means a lot because, again, I've said this 1,000 times. When I started with one subscriber, you put 4,000 people in a room, people calling the cops. There's a lot of news. You might consider it fake news. You might consider it just smoke. You might consider it just lies. Because once the season's done, it is now lying season for the Carolina Panthers and anyone not in the postseason. People are going to lie about what coaches are going to be their head coach. Some people are going to lie about who they want to draft or not. But the latest one to hit the Carolina Panthers is one Jim Harbaugh, a former Carolina Panthers quarterback, who is apparently, according to his reportedly very close friend, John U. Bacon, a New York Times bestselling author. He's a University of Michigan alum. They are literally friends with each other. And he has kind of been making the rounds lately, saying that, Jim is frustrated with the NCAA as a whole, not necessarily Michigan, but just the way the college football and the direction that it's headed, and that he is eyeing a return to the NFL. For those who might not remember, he was a fearsome coach with the San Francisco 49ers. More on that. But according to him, this again, Jim Harbaugh's close friend, that if he could choose, if he could pick on Jim's behalf, he would pick the Carolina Panthers, Indianapolis Colts, and Denver Broncos in that order of teams that he would be most interested in to least interested in, the most being the Carolina Panthers. Seeing could be the young roster, an owner that wants to win badly and would do whatever he can. He probably also saw the deal that he gave Matt Rule and is probably like, I'm a 10 times better NFL coach because I've done it before, played in the league, and I'm a way better college coach as well. Give me that deal and all the control. Those who don't remember, and I remember one of the first Super Bowl parties I watched when I was in university was Baltimore Ravens. It was the Harbaugh Bowl. John and Jim Harbaugh facing off against each other. I think it was in the Superdome where the power went out and Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers should have won that game. They ended up not. Ray Lewis gets his second ring, yada, yada, yada. But Jim was a feared head coach in the NFL. He brought the San Francisco 49ers to, I think, 3 straight NFC Championship games after the 49ers were kind of a shadow of themselves as the NFL franchise, and then he kind of revamped. And if you take a look at what he was working with, the drafting wasn't awesome. I believe they drafted 2 linebackers that ended up retiring from football after about 5 years. But he had a quarterback, a dual-threat quarterback in Colin Kaepernick. Ever heard of him? A lot of people wanted him to be the Carolina Panthers quarterback. So you see, that's the kind of guy that he gravitates towards, a dual-threat quarterback, something that there's a good amount available in this year's draft. And so he's an offensive-minded head coach, which is what a lot of people wanted, including yours truly. He's been an NFL quarterback before with the Bears, the Colts, and the Panthers. I'm sure with other teams as well. I just don't remember. He is a successful NFL head coach and a successful college coach. So it's not like you're picking up a Matt Rule or even if you're picking up a Nick Saban, not comparing the two in terms of the college ranks, but this is a guy who's proven it on every level and at everywhere that he's been, whether it's at San Diego, Stanford, where he coached and mentored Andrew Luck, and then he still speaks to him. And now you have him in the San Francisco 49ers, where he mentored and developed Colin Kaepernick, where it seems like no one else could have done that. Colin Kaepernick, blackballed, yes, but it seems like no other coach at least could have looked at him. Even a Sean Payton could have looked at him and be like, I can mold this guy. I can make him something special. Jim saw this quarterback, this lanky quarterback out of Nevada, and turned him into a Super Bowl contestant in just a matter of years. But then, just a couple hours ago, the University of Michigan releases a statement with Jim Harbaugh. One word that I looked at in his little excerpt there is that he said that he expects to coach the Michigan Wolverines in 2023. Expects. I expect to lose 10 pounds in 2 months. Will I lose 10 pounds? Probably not. Will you get mad at me if I don't? No. Will you be happy if I do? Sure. This John U. Bacon guy was on a local Carolina upstate station saying that he signed off his interview saying this: I will speak to you next week. Trust me. I don't know if that's a quote, paraphrasing, but he basically said, In this interview, number one, he said if Jim is coming back to the NFL, it's going to be a quick decision. Once the season's done, it's happening. Because I'm sure if he wants to have full control, he wants to know what the hell's going on with the draft. He wants to know what's going on with free agency. And so he said this deal will happen quickly. He also just be using the Panthers as a ploy to just get a better raise from the University of Michigan or more money from the Colts or from the Broncos. Who knows? But we're going to keep track on this. If something does happen, check out the YouTube shorts. I'm going to make sure to update on all those things. But let me know in the comments below. Would you want Jim Harbaugh as the head coach? Would he be your, if it's Steve Wilks, number one, at your heart, Steve Wilks is your number two, your number A, your number 1B, Jim Harbaugh, or is it somebody else, another hotshot offensive coordinator who hasn't proven anything in the NFL as a head coach, unlike Jim, and in some cases, Steve Wilks? Let me know. Week 18, end of the season. We've come a long way. I feel like if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you've kind of endured 3 or 4 different kinds of seasons. It's literally been a roller coaster. I don't remember a season as up and down as this one, but now it's going to come to an end. And despite the fact that the Panthers are not going to make the playoffs, not going to win the division, there is a lot to play for against the New Orleans Saints that the players, including Shaq Thompson, he might not even be on the team next year. That's the only thing. He's the loudest right now, one of the loudest voices for Steve Wilks and the turf. So something tells me he's not going to be on the team next year. Also, he's making a boatload of money next year. But guys like Shaq, guys like Derek Brown, JC Horn saying on Twitter as well that, he's definitely got the locker room. And I think these guys, if you're a betting man, Panthers are plus 3.5 right now against the Saints. I feel like I would take that because I think these players are not only playing for their own careers, because if there is a new head coach and potentially a new GM, they could be looking for jobs unless you're some of the foundation guys. So guys will be playing hard for new contracts, new jobs next year. And also they're going to be playing, if they are going to be sticking around, for that stability and keeping Steve Wilks. And they think that maybe if they get him that 6th win, more wins than Matt Rule ever had as a Carolina Panther in more time, maybe that, puts a little plant in David Tepper's brain that maybe I should bring this guy. Look how happy everybody is. Look how happy the fans are. Maybe this is the guy long term. Panthers are going to edge this one out. I think they're going to beat the Saints 27-25. I think the players are going to fight hard for him, especially on defense. Maybe a pick six, a fumble recovery. The defensive secondary, they got a lot showing up to do. Talking about playing for their next career move, next contract, next team. They cannot get blown out like they did last week against arguably the best quarterback of all time. But they can't play like that. So let me know how you feel about the game on Sunday. You think the Panthers are going to come out firing? Or maybe they're thinking draft position. I personally don't think so. I think no matter where the Panthers go, whether it's 6th or 9th, I think Scott Fitterer and Dan Morgan, if he's the GM and assistant GM, they're going to trade up if they want to trade up. We're going to have a lot of draft coverage, by the way, in the offseason. Special reoccurring guest. We're going to be profiling all the prospects. That's going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, let me know about your thoughts on Sunday. What do you think is going to happen? Let me know your score predictions below. See you guys Sunday night.